Good evening, and thank you for inviting us to the past 8 years. You might know me. You might know who I am. You may have seen me dance to Who Let the Dogs Out, or play air guitar to just about anything, or play wheel guitar with one of the bands. Mom and Dad have learned not to worry about where I might be at dawn. Eventually, I will make my way up to the stage and end up being broadcasted on one of the big screens. Thanks to Thon, for 2 days in the middle of February, a kid with cancer gets to be a kid with 1,000 playmates on the biggest playground they have ever seen. They forge friendships with college students who accept them unconditionally, that are like older brothers and sisters who never argue and are willing to play all the time, and sometimes teach them things our parents would rather us not know just yet. Like beer pong. Thank you, DTD. Dawn is synonymous with the Four Diamonds Fund. We are a Four Diamonds family. This is not something any kid would choose because it simply means you have cancer. We became a Four Diamonds family on November 20th, 2002. That was the day I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. I was 2. Wow. Someone who has now become imminent with cancer cannot understand the completeness of it. It storms its way into every corner of your life. A switch is flipped and you are suddenly immersed in a world of chemotherapy, hospitals, spinal taps, pit lines, and bone marrow aspirations. A fever was not just a reason to stay home from school. It meant a trip to the emergency room and quite possibly a hospital stay. Even if you are healed, you will always have had cancer. Mom and Dad quickly needed to cope with this situation. Child Life, the social workers funded through the Four Diamonds Fund at Hershey Children's Hospital, met with us that first night and were along for the remainder of the journey. And I had quite a journey. The first 6 months of treatment were fairly intense. It was during this time I received my port, which made the administration of treatment and withdrawal of blood much easier than the use of a pit line. There were many weekly trips to Hershey for clinic. Mom and Dad learned after trying to hide my pills in various condiments that I was fine with just taking them. I chewed them, but I took them. After this period, I entered maintenance for the next 2.5 years, receiving what everyone thought and hoped was my final treatment on January 12, 2006. Within a few weeks, Mom and Dad have noticed that I was tired much of the time, very much unlike me. At dawn that year, I had a hard time keeping my eyes open, but pushed on. I knew my dancers could not sleep, so I would not either. In March, a spinal tap showed that leukemia had reappeared in my central nervous system. This meant a new round of much more aggressive treatment. I was 6. The protocol for the NCS relapse called for many overnight hospitalizations to administrative chemotherapy. Usually, these lasted for days. Mom and Dad tag teamed these. One of them staying with me for the first 2 days, and the other being the relief covering the final 2 days. Too many of these had to count, but I actually came to look forward to this part of the therapy. The rooms at Hershey all have a PlayStation. Movies are available all day and night. There was a large playroom with air hockey and basketball. There were crafts and hospital bingo, and nurses that encouraged me to be the center of attention. Not that this is a hard thing for me to do. It was during one of these hospitalizations I decided to perform for the nurses assigned to my room. While attached to an IV, I danced and sang a few lines from I'm Too Sexy. The nurses gave me money. Well, the next day I had recruited some nurses to schedule performances for the entire floor. I forget how much I earned, but I donated it to Thon. As I said earlier, cancer works its way into every part of your life. Finances are impacted. There were many times during this period when Mom or Dad were not in the office part of the week. Much of this was unpaid time. This is where the Four Diamonds Fund becomes a lifeboat. All of my medical costs at Hershey are covered by the Four Diamonds Fund. There are no bills. For us, this meant Mom and Dad did not need to worry about insurance co-pays. There were and still are none. This is covered by the Four Diamonds Fund. The Four Diamonds Fund helped with travel costs through gas vouchers and provided meal passes during hospitalizations and all-day clinic visits. The monetary assistance provided by the Four Diamonds Fund allowed Mom and Dad to stay focused on my child life. The social workers funded through the Four Diamonds Fund provided my personal support we needed to navigate all the paperwork. One of these individuals, Janice Trovella, passed away after her own battle with cancer. Janice helped me and the other kids happy when we were in clinic. She provided a distraction to kids during procedure, spinal taps, and bone marrow aspirations, and kept the movies, crafts, and games flowing in the infusion room. She made sure I had always had a supply of wind-up toys and ice Bibles for my many spinal taps. I miss her. My final treatment was May 29, 2008. Our lives had not been defined by the fact that I had cancer and survived, but it has been changed. This is not a journey any of us would have chosen to take, but now that we have, I cannot imagine our lives if we would not have taken it. Cancer takes much, but it also gives. We have learned patience, we have experienced the care and compassion of thousands of strangers at Vaughn. We have gained new friends, Chad, Steve, Alex, Tina, Sam, and many others. Most importantly, we have learned that nothing is a given, that every second of every day counts, and that what really matters in life is the time you spend with the ones you love.